My name is Gianfranco Berardi, my pronouns are he, him, his, and I encourage curiosity and support creativity through my solo indie game development studio, GB Games LLC. This is the Freshly Squeezed Progress Report companion video to go with the Freshly Squeezed Progress Report blog post I published earlier this week. In last week's report, I was creating menus to allow the player to ask questions about beliefs in The Dungeon Under My House, my second Freshly Squeezed entertainment project. If you've been following along, you know that The Dungeon Under My House will be a non-violent first-person dungeon crawler, and as a Freshly Squeezed entertainment project, it will be a polished, playable prototype that provides a complete entertainment experience. It will be freely available for desktop computers, as well as mobile devices, with no ads, no in-app purchases, and no personal data tracking. I feel like I made some decent progress on various aspects of asking questions about a character's belief about a topic. I finished the flow from the previous week, and the character can now reply in an appropriate way, as I'll demonstrate. At this point, we're in the intro. You're in the kitchen, and your parents say that they're going to make snacks for you, and your father says, actually, we need a jar of pickles, you need to go to the basement to get that. Which means, now, if you were to ask a question for someone else, you know about the jar of pickles, and you can ask about the location of the jar of pickles. I've also updated the text that goes along with it because the generic response was coming off as non-human sounding, whereas having variations of text depending on what kind of question was being asked makes it feel more natural. A where question uses different words, such as, do you know where XYZ is, with an appropriate response being, XYZ is in the kitchen. Meanwhile, a what question would be, what do you know about XYZ, and a response might be, XYZ is a pigeon. I also made this question and answer session impactful. That is, when a character responds to a question, the characters in your party will now update their beliefs based on their response. And as you can see, I made the intro script update the party's beliefs about the location of the jar of pickles that your dad mentions. So if I were to ask Chris also knows about the location of the jar of pickles. If, however, I went back to the rest of the gang and asked them about it, nobody here would know anything about the jar of pickles. There are still a lot of loose ends to tie up. For instance, while the party learns something from a character's response, what about everyone else in the room? At this point, nobody else learns even though they're in the same vicinity as the person giving the response. Also, if you ask about the jar of pickles, people still respond with a generic, I don't know anything about it, even if they know the jar's location. That is, if you're asking about the topic of the jar in the first place and not the jar's location as a sub-topic. It'd be nice if a character could respond with a random belief about a topic instead of feigning ignorance, something that should wait until I program them to be deceitful on purpose. Thanks for watching, and stay curious. Now, if you want to learn when I release The Dungeon Under My House, or about future freshly squeezed entertainment games I am creating, then sign up for the GB Games Curiosity newsletter and download full-color player's guides to my existing and future games for free.